Severin hitting us with another box set, this time on Blu-ray. It's High Tension, the 4 films by Lamberto Bava, who everybody knows is the son, I believe, of Mario Bava. This was apparently, he was going to make a TV anthology series called High Tension. Made 4 movies. They were too gruesome to be aired. So now we get them in this wonderful box set from Severin. There's your specs there if you want to read all of that. It features The Prince of Terror, The Man Who Wouldn't Die, School of Fear, Eyewitness. These are movies that I've never in my lifetime heard of, but was more than willing to go and give them a good day in the park. There is a bunch of stuff about all of them if you want to read that. 5+ hours of all new special features, plus a bonus Boswell Bava soundtrack CD. And these box sets, I feel like it was the Amityville set from Vinegar Syndrome was like the first style of this that got really, really popular. You take the lid off, and you get, of course, 4 movies in their own individual cases. We will review each movie individually here. I just want to give you a quick look at them real fast. But we have Eyewitness, School of Fear, The Man Who Wouldn't Die, and The Prince of Terror. Now that you've seen these, I'll give you a better look at these because we're going to do individual release reviews here. So yeah, let's get into the box set properly. Okay, I'm going to review these in the order that I've watched them. Some of them wasn't watched in the same day, but I will say at the time of reviewing this one, this is the first one I've watched, and it was a pretty good one. I gave it go ahead and tell you, I give it a 3 out of 5. It is very bloody, very weird, very strange, very bizarre in the most wonderful way possible. This is something that I think could have probably made a good good bid for being a solo release and being good. But nonetheless, it's called Prince of Terror. It's got this man here plays a director, and it opens up like, well, we think we're watching the movie, but some stuff happens like, well, that's pretty hokey, but then you realize that it's actually part of a movie that this man is directing because he's a movie director, but he calls cut. And he kind of gets into a bit of a beef with his writer friend who wrote it. He writes, I guess, all of his stuff. And this ends up, spilling over with the producer, and the producer sides with the director here. And he fires the writer, which sets forth the events of what the film becomes. And as you can see here, this guy's an avid golfer, and his ball's a 666 on him. This all comes to a head and makes sense later on, although getting there is very strange and very weird. I will say this much because I don't want to give too much of it away. Him and his family are out at their home. They're playing golf, all that good stuff. And this strange man with some scars does a home invasion. And we figure out where this connects with the writer, and we figure out where it all connects together later. But like I said, there's a lot of over-the-top scenes. There's a lot of over-the-top violence. There's stuff with golf balls that you probably just really need to see. I don't want to spoil it, but this is solid. It's a 3, and if I keep talking like I'm talking about it, I may have to raise it up because I like this a lot. I didn't expect to. I mean, I thought it was going to be good, but I didn't expect to have this much fun with one of them, and this one was a blast. So yeah, Prince of Terror is so far, so even though I've only watched one, the best one. There is what the side looks like. Here's what we get on the back. I don't see nothing spoilerish there on the back, but yeah, there is a little bit of a write-up there if you want to read it. It says it's kind of a home invasion. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of weird stuff together. We get a audio commentary with Mondo Digital's Nathaniel Thompson and Troy Holworth, author of So Deadly, So Perverse. And then you get some interview time there with Lamberto Bava and another feature right there. So yeah, good stuff here on this one. So far now, I haven't seen the rest of them yet at the time of doing this review, but if you only have a chance to see one, this one is not a bad one to see. Next up here, we got The Man Who Wouldn't Die. This is, I think, technically the first movie that was made for this series. It never aired. I will also tell you that this one is a film that has really no protagonist. There's really no good people in this movie. There's characters that go from bad to worse, basically. So nobody really to root for. It's kind of an interesting dynamic, but I guess it makes it what it is in some ways. But we have basically people trying to perform a heist on some art. The art's worth a lot of money, obviously. During the robbery, one of them gets injured to the point where they don't think the man's going to make it. The rest of them dump him in the woods. He makes it, which that should tell you right there that he does. And then the rest of the movie, he goes back on a rampage against the people who left him there. But there's also twists and turns along the way. I will say this much: I did not enjoy this one as much as I enjoyed the first one that I watched. I thought it was weird in some ways, which is good. I thought it, I don't know if it kind of hurt it where you didn't really have nobody to root for, really. The ending is like so random to me that I think maybe that may be the only highlight of it. But all things considered, I only give it like a 2 out of 5 because it was kind of dull in spots. And I hate to say that because that's really something that you don't usually get with Lamberto Bava. But I did find this one a little bit dull in some spots, mixed in with a few interesting scenes and odd things, which stuff like this is going to have odd stuff. That's just the Italian horror way. So yeah, it's definitely, if you want some weird, you got some weird. Other than that, it is what it is, I guess, and it definitely wasn't as good following the first one in the set that I watched. But here we have pictures. Now, this is based off a novel, and Mario Bava at one point was going to direct it, but he didn't, so his son ended up doing it. Special features. We got more interviews with Lamberto Bava and Stephen King Italian style. So, yeah, I don't know if I would go about that way with it. It kind of feels like a weird episode of The Twilight Zone in some ways, even though I don't think it's on the quality of The Twilight Zone. But it's weird enough that you might be able to put it in that bag. But it's more weird than anything. The other movie was weird but bloody. This one's not as bloody, so it kind of hurts it. All right, starting off now with School of Fear. This one is kind of like the Clover Valley version of Suspiria. Clover Valley, if you know what that is, you know what I'm talking about. It's got its moments. It's a little moody in spots. It's a little weird in spots. Starts out good, has some good little creepy moments to it. It seems Argento light at times, all the way to the point of what it sounds like to me, a knockoff Suspiria theme that plays. And it does deal with schools and kids and stuff, so it's kind of in that same vein. But nonetheless, this is a young teacher. She's got a past. She comes to the school and somebody's trying to mess with her. And of course, the plot is trying to figure out who it is and what exactly is going on. And that does come to fruition as you keep watching. So it's a lot. It's an hour and 40 minutes, so it's a little bit long for me personally. But like I said, it does have its moments. This is a good lead. It's got the one that runs the school is Dario Argento's ex-wife. Asia, whatever, Argento's mom. She's in this, so there is definitely Argento vibes here. Even though this is Lamberto Bava, who I think is at his best when he does off the wall stuff, like in the the first movie we talked about. Whereas when he's kind of trying to do the light Argento stuff, maybe it doesn't really work as good. But nonetheless, I give this one a 2 out of 5, and I mostly give it a 2 out of 5 because I think the ending is just extremely unrewarding. If you watch it, you will know what I mean. There is some shots of this. There is what you get extra-wise, some interviews, plus this bonus disc that's in here. And this is when you get a CD. Yes, a CD is here with some of the music from Bava's music. You'll see Demonier 2. Like, you'll see the French names or whatever here. Italian name. I don't know why I said French. The Italian names for the music that's on here. So, yeah, that's a cool twist. Cool little extra to have there. So, yeah, School of Fear didn't really do it for me, but some people might love it. Last but not least in this set, we have Eyewitness, starring one young lady that is in Cemetery Man. Not the one that everybody remembers from Cemetery Man, but another one. She's also in The Church. And she plays a blind woman here, and they're like at a mall at the start of it. And something happens to somebody, and she's the only eyewitness, which is funny because she's blind. But nonetheless, people that may be in the know are being stalked and somewhat sexually assaulted, we'll say, by the guy who did do it. and he kind of just runs around being a serial killer and serial uh, rapist. I was going to say, I don't know if you can say it on YouTube or not. Throughout most of the movie, stalking this blind girl while the police are trying to figure out who done it, and of course her friend, boyfriend, whatever he is, that has a scar on his face. What is it with Bava and people having scars on their face? But he's got scars on his face, and he's like her lover, her friend, and he's also the number one suspect that the cop, who's also got a thing for the blind girl, thinks is doing it. So this leaves some very interesting situations. There's some interesting kills. Not really much in the way of gore, which was kind of surprising to me. It's labeled as being somewhat tenebrae light, tenebrae-ish. I can kind of see it, but it's more of just a drama. It's kind of a weird, eerie drama at times. There is some pictures there of what you get here. There's our blind girl, who does play blind very well. Audio commentary from Mondo Digital's people. The last Giallo interview with director Lamberto Bava. And Love is Blind interview with the actress, who is Barbara Cupisti. Tomato. She's a blind woman here, and she does a good job at it. So yeah, this one a little better. I think when we started off originally with all that blood and gore and all that stuff, I thought maybe we get more of that in these high tension movies, although they kind of seem to be leaning more towards the drama and the thriller aspect as we went along. I still give this one 2.5. It's down the middle. It was there at times, and sometimes it wasn't. But everything in the box set looks good. Everything's watchable. There's probably just one that was kind of I don't want to say dud, but there was one that was kind of like, kind of iffy. The rest of them are better. And this one, if you like Argento, you like Giallos, then this one here is probably going to be for you. Overall, the set's nice. The set looks good, and it looks great on the shelf. So, Severin, once again, giving people what they need, and Lamberto Bava is not a bad thing to deliver.